Hello, I am Cindy Darden, Director of Instructional Technology at Hillsborough ISD. Welcome. I am so glad that you are here today. We are going to have a lot of fun designing digital breakouts by number, and you are going to leave with the skills to create a masterpiece. So are you ready to get going? Let's begin and explore digital breakout design by numbers with G Suite. You can follow along and interact with this presentation by grabbing this QR code or by going to bit.ly/DDB, as in Designing Digital Breakouts with G Suite. In fact, I will meet you there in just a second. Okay, here we are. Everything that you need is displayed on this Google site. And as an overview, let's take a look at the four color-coded Designing Digital Breakouts by Number categories. Number 1 in gold, Design. Number 2 in green, Decipher. Number 3 in blue, Digital Locks. And number 4 in red, Display. This is just an overview of the four categories that we're going to use today to design your digital breakout by number. Now, on our Google site, let's go up to our Defend page and talk about why we would even want to do a digital breakout. Let's face it, educators are some of the most creative people. And when escape rooms became popular, educators quickly adapted the idea for the classroom because we saw the educational value of this simple formula. So, first you have a small group of students work together and collaborate. Additionally, they put on their higher order thinking caps so that they can find and decipher clues, which ultimately results in them solving the mystery by unlocking a space, be it physical or a virtual space, so that they break out or escape. If you think breakouts sound like fun, you're right. But in this sketch by Maria Galanis and Sylvia Duckworth, fun is only one of the 10 reasons to play breakout. It's also adaptable to any subject area. And when you understand how it works, you can easily replicate it and customize it to suit your learning targets. And we've already discussed number 3 and 4. We know that it promotes collaboration and team building, and it develops those critical thinking skills. And number 5, it enhances communication skills. 6, it challenges players to persevere because they're probably not going to get the solution and the answers right the first time. Number 7, it builds inferencing skills. So if this happens, maybe does that mean that this could be a possibility? Number 8, students learn to work under pressure. Normally, a breakout is around 45 minutes or a class period. Number 9, it is student centered. Number 10, it's inquiry based learning at its best. And then on top of that, there are bonus reasons for designing digital breakouts as opposed to breakouts with a box. If you have created breakouts with a box before, you'll appreciate the fact that with a digital breakout, there's no box, no physical locks, no problem. What that means is that it's a one-time setup as opposed to having to recreate the scene and reset your locks. Number 2, there's no physical pieces to keep up with or get lost. And number 3, you're not limited by the number of physical game pieces or boxes that you need in order to play. And number 4, it's free. So now we're ready to go to the demo page. On the demo page, you will get to test drive a digital breakout because designing digital breakouts by number will make a lot more sense if you begin with the end in mind and experience an actual digital breakout that was designed with this method. So please click on the image below and let's give the Ready Learner 1 digital breakout a spin. I'll meet you there. Okay, here we are. But first, remember one of the 10 reasons to play Digital Breakout is because it is so adaptable to any content or subject area. Case in point, just for fun, our demo breakout today is loosely based on the book Ready Player One that had many 80s references. So, fair warning, today your knowledge of 80s trivia will be challenged. Now I'll set the scene for the Ready Learner 1 digital breakout. You are a teacher in the year 2045, and there are no physical schools. Your school is in the virtual world of the Oasis. Your students join from home and various other locations. Sound familiar? Sounds a little bit more like 2020 than 2045 so far. Anyway, you love teaching in the Oasis because of all of the possibilities. For instance, you are taking your students on a trip to ancient Greece and will walk through the Parthenon with them today. You can't wait. Although students in 2045 sometimes get a little carried away and use, let's say, colorful language that is not at all appropriate for the classroom and might have avatars that are inappropriate and distracting for the classroom, you have a bad language filter and dress code filter that keeps your virtual classroom running smoothly. However, when you geared up an hour early this morning and started setting things up in your Oasis classroom, you noticed that the language and dress code filters had been hacked. Uh-oh, you can't have class in the Oasis without the filters. Have you seen some of those avatars? As you look around the Oasis classroom, you see that the hacker has left you a message that reads, "Unlock the door to the 80s to lock the filters." Who can you turn to? You begin looking around the room for clues. You have 45 minutes before class begins. Can you regain control of the filters before students arrive? Otherwise, you'll have to manage your classroom like they did in the old days. Now, all of the resources that you need to break out and solve the teaching crisis in the Oasis can be found within this site. So, please pause this presentation and go to this site on your computer if you haven't already and try to break out. When you are finished, or after approximately 25 minutes, I will meet you back here. Be sure to read carefully and best of luck. Welcome back. I hope you had fun with the demo digital breakout and learned a little 80s trivia along the way. But most importantly, because you began with the end in mind, designing digital breakouts by number is going to make a lot more sense. So let's go back home for just a second and briefly revisit the four color-coded designing digital breakouts by number categories. Number 1 in yellow, design. Number 2 in green, decipher. Number 3 in blue, digital locks. And number 4 in red, display. Now let's take a look in more detail at number 1, design. So let's go to the design page and view the design process. Filling in this color-coded design by number template as you design your digital breakout will guide you to complete your masterpiece in a fashion similar to paint by number. The gold section is what I call the design section. It is where you nail down your big idea. You decide on a title, for example, Teaching in the Oasis, the subject areas and topics that will be addressed. In this case, it is 80s culture, specifically movies, music, and video games. But yours could be much more academic than that. This one was for experiential professional development, but you'll want to identify the learning standards that will be targeted. Next, fill in the ages or grade levels appropriate for your digital breakout. Then, write your narrative to describe the breakout problem that needs to be solved. Be creative and have fun so that it promotes novelty and a sense of playing a game. Also, write a few questions that will cause your players to reflect after they finish the digital breakout. And the last piece of the design is to decide on the type of digital locks, the keys to the locks, and the site images that link to the clues. And this is where the number by design actually comes in. And the first site image is numbered 1A. And it looks like this in our demo site. It was the 80s movies image, and the file is actually named 1A. Now back to the template where you pick up in the green category for decipher and fill in 2A for the linked lock clue. In the demo, it was this Google slide with the embedded video and the link to the branching Google form. Continue in this manner until you have filled in the information for all of your locks. Next, for number 3 in the blue category, fill in the URL for the digital lock response validation form. Then finally, for number 4 in the red category, for display, fill in the URL for the Google site that contains your digital breakout. Notice that there is a reminder in each category to save your files in a digital breakout folder in Google Drive. At the top of this template, I have a link to my demo folder as an example for you to view. It looks like this. So, when you are ready to start designing your own digital breakout, it's easy. Just click the image to the right to get a copy of the color-coded Designing Digital Breakouts by Number template. So that completes category number 1, design. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into category number 2, decipher. There are unlimited possibilities when it comes to creating digital clues. Let's look at a few examples. Remember 2A1, Back to the Future? It's a Google form with branching, go to selection based on answer. It looks like this. Depending on which answer you choose, the form is going to go to a certain section. And when participants need individual copies of clues to interact with and make changes, as you did with 2B Pac-Man, forcing a digital copy like this comes in handy so that you can open the clue and do what you need to do. Google Sheets conditional formatting is another great way to make digital clues, as was done in 2C1 You Make My Dreams, which is also a forced digital copy so that when the participant enters an answer and enter it correctly, they will see the conditional formatting. That can be a color that might help lead to an answer. Also, a sort of digital play on invisible ink can be used as it was in 2D, Who Can You Turn To? Because when you see something that causes you to take a second look in a digital breakout, you probably should dig deeper to see if it's a clue. Aha! In addition to the digital clues that were used in the digital breakout demo, there are many more types of digital clues that you can create. If you want to learn how to create any of these clues, pause this presentation and on your site, click on the links in the left-hand column. That covers Category 2, Decipher. Now let's move on to Category 3, Digital Locks. Okay, here we are on the Digital Locks page. In the demo digital breakout, Google Form data validation was used to create 4 different types of digital locks: number, directional, color, and text. If you are interested in learning how to create digital locks, pause this presentation and watch this video on your Google site that you are using to follow along, and I will meet you back here when you're finished. Isn't data validation such a cool and useful feature of Google Forms? I'm sure that you can think of many ways that you can use it. So now that you are a digital locksmith, it's time to go to category 4, display. Finally, you made it to category number 4 and are ready to display your digital breakout on your Google site. Fortunately, this is going to be a piece of cake because you followed the digital breakout design by numbers method and have everything planned out on your copy of the color-coded Designing Digital Breakouts by Numbers template, and the corresponding files are created and organized in your color-coded digital breakout folders in Google Drive. Everything is all set and ready to go onto your Google site. So here's how to create your digital breakout design by numbers Google site. You will go to sites.new to open a blank Google site template. And then from your Designing Digital Breakouts template and corresponding Google Drive folders, you will fill in the numbered information. First, you will want to fill in your header image that you created from section 4 display on the Designing Digital Breakouts by Numbers template. So hover over the header image on the Google Site template, select Change Image, then choose Select Image, select Google Drive, then go to your digital breakout folder and select the header image that you created for the site. Next, you are ready to describe the problem for your digital breakout. So go to section 1, Design, on the Designing Digital Breakouts by Numbers template and copy your narrative. Then come back to your Google Site template and insert a text box as illustrated and paste your narrative in the text box. Now it's time to add your site images that you created from section 1 design. In our demo example, this was the 80s movie image, the Rubik's Cube image, and the cassette image. So go to your digital breakout folders in Google Drive and select the images that you created for your site. Next, click on each site image that you just added from the Google site. Then click the Insert icon and paste the URL to the linked lock clue that you created in Section 2 Decipher. Then add your digital lock validation form that you created in Section 3. You should be able to easily insert this when you go to the Insert tab in the Google site, select From Google Drive, then go to your digital breakout folders and select the Google form with response validation that you created for your site. Now you have completed your digital breakout design by number Google site. And now you're ready to publish it. By selecting Publish in the top right corner. And then you are ready to copy and paste the long URL as illustrated, or select the link icon to get the published site link to share with others so that they can view and play your digital breakout. So that's it. When you follow the Designing Digital Breakouts by Numbers method, you will be creating masterpieces in no time. Thank you so much for joining me today and participating in this session. I hope that you have a great day.